So for this demo, I'm going to be trying to do this dress, and I'm going to be doing dress B, which is this sleeveless one. So if I look at my instructions, it says dress B over here, and it says that I need piece 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And for piece 1, 2, and 10, and 11, it says to do A, B, or C. And so if I look at the pattern, for example, 2, I have 2A here, 2B there, and 2C over there. So the way I decide between these is you can't just do it visually. If you take a look, you can see that C has the most curvature along the breast, whereas A has the least curvature. And so basically it has to do with what cup you are. And the instructions are usually found on this newsprint paper, and for this one it says that the way you determine your size is the difference between your bust size and your high bust. So my bust size is 36 inches and my high bust is 35 inches. So that's a difference of 1 inch. So I'm going to be using so basically I'm a B cup, and it says down here for bust B cup Miss and bust C cup women, use bodice front pattern 1A and bodice front pattern 2A. So I'm going to be using the A one. Okay, and so I'm gonna cut all the appropriate pattern pieces, and then I want you to notice again that on the instructions it's giving me several different layouts for how to lay out my pieces on my fabric. And the reason that there are the different ones is you have to look at the sizes and also the information for how wide that fabric is. So for these three up here, that's for fabric that's 44 inches wide, and for these down here, it's for fabric that's approximately 60 inches wide. So professionals have figured out the best way to lay out the pattern pieces so you waste the least amount of fabric. I'm going to be doing size 18 because that's my widest hip. My widest measurement was my hip. I don't want to make this size to fit my bust but not to fit my hips. So I'm going to be doing a size 18, and my fabric's approximately 45 inches wide. So when I cut my pieces out, I'm going to lay them out like this. And it says selvages and fold. So when I cut my fabric out, I'm going to have it folded lengthwise down here, like that, and the selvages are here. And what that's referring to is I have my fabric here, and selvages are these finished edges that do not fray. When you buy your fabric, it's cut to size, and they cut it, and where they cut it is where it frays. And these outside parts are called selvages. On some fabrics, such as this one, the selvage is kind of obvious. Usually it has a printed side, so the printed edge is usually the selvage, but that's only on one side. They don't print it out on the other. But you can tell where the selvages are. The selvages don't fray as easily as where the rest of the fabric does. I'm sorry if this is out of focus. And there's a couple of terminology terms I want you to think about. One is selvage, which I just explained was the finished edges of the fabric that do not fray. So those are the outside edges. Grain-wise is the fibers of the woven fabric that are parallel to the selvage. They run up and down, and they're usually pretty tough. And crosswise grain is the weft fibers that are perpendicular to the selvage. So if I'm looking at, this is the fabric I'm going to use. If I lay it out and I take a look at it, hold on, I have a lot of it. So up here is a selvage. over here is where it was cut, and down here is another selvage. And so for this fabric, selvage is down here and up there. So grains going that way, these are considered grain-wise, and grays going this way, the short fibers, are called crosswise. And that's important because if you test out your fabric, if you pull it with the grain, it doesn't have much give. But if you pull it against the grain, if you pull it crosswise, usually there's more give. I don't know if you can see that. But the way you pull it shows a difference in how much give there is. And grain-wise is stronger, it's tougher. So usually lots of pieces. They are meant so that when they're on your body, it will be running up and down grain-wise, so the gravity doesn't make the piece pull. So you'll notice that a lot of these pieces have arrows that are going straight up and down that are telling you that when you lay out this piece on your fabric, you should be laying it with the grain. There's some other arrows also. One arrow that's important to know is the arrow that looks like this. It has some 90-degree bends on it. That means line up the pattern piece on your fold so that the fabric you cut opens up. So if this is my pattern piece and it has those 90-degree arrows, it means that I'm going to place that on a fold so that when I open that piece up, it's going to be twice as big. And another important symbol is the triangle. You'll see them often along the outer parts of your fabric there and there and there, and don't serve to line up pieces. So when you cut it, don't cut into the triangle, cut out, and that will help you line up with a corresponding piece. And any other symbols you see, like circles or squares, you will usually have to mark them because sometimes they help with placing pockets or things like that. So that's a quick overview of what all the symbols and the different kinds of fibers that make the fabric are. I'm going to post another video that shows me cutting it out after I have cut these out. Okay.